welcome to the Event Promoter Podcast presented by Vesta. In this episode, we have Alex from Surge. They're powering more than $200,000 in ticket sales a week. You said something like 3.5 million this year. Full service marketing agency that specializes in ambassador programs or an ambassador network. I'll let you explain that a little bit more because you're probably the expert at that.
Yeah. So we are, like you said, an ambassador network at our core. We have over 10,000 active ambassadors in our network, but kind of what we do is we build out a tailored ambassador system for your event. That entails is just anyone interested in the event. We go out, we find the correct people that promote your event. There's no follower count minimum. There's no stipulations and guidelines for what entails or what an ambassador entails. It's just if they're interested in the event and they kind of fit what the event is supposed to be. Obviously, we go through and we vet them, but there's no follower count needed. Like your typical kind of influencer programs. And I think that's kind of what differentiates us. We've seen some huge success in it. We, like you said, we've done a little over $3.5 million in sales for 2025, and we're continuing to grow pretty exponentially. So it's been exciting, and we're hoping we can kind of continue to grow and see those sales increase.
What is unique about the way that you guys are doing these ambassador programs versus how people maybe were doing them manually themselves?
Yeah, so I just think that we're good at it, right? Like there's no real secret behind it. Is we've built a network. We're trusted by people in the industry. We have decided like what makes a good ambassador, and we've proven it. And then on top of that, the more success we see and the more success we drive, the bigger our network is. You kind of grow and people trust you, and it becomes like it's a system, right? But we take the time, we recruit, we go out, a lot of our time is spent manually recruiting people and finding the correct people to represent your event. So it's just, tedious and a lot of hard work. And, if you're willing to put that in, then you can see success in that.
I mean, I see that's one of the things that when I talk to event organizers, a lot of them are like, a street team or an ambassador program is something that like we know we should be doing or we are doing, but it's not working quite as well as we want it to. And I do want to get into beyond just like working with a company like yours. What are just some of the like tactical things someone could do to like start building out a program like that if they already have it, or like what they might be doing wrong? But I also want to first give you a chance to talk about why and like at what level it just makes sense to just hire someone that's a specialist like your team and that already has a network built out like you guys.
Yeah. So the beautiful part about us is we are strictly commission based, right? So like at our core, like there's no charge up front. So for bigger companies, for events, honestly, of pretty much any size, we have a system that works. So we are commission based, right? So, if we sell $500,000 worth of tickets, great. If we sell 0 tickets, then we just, hopefully just had a great conversation together. But, it's, and we've never sold 0 tickets. It's just kind of,
yeah.
So, we just like to help and support festivals and events. And this is the way that we found success in doing that. And it also kind of allows that festival and that event or whatever it is to feel like it's more personable, right? Like ambassadors, feel like they're a part of the event because they are a part of the event, right? So it becomes like a second nature to promote it. And, we kind of help them, fuel them to do that. I'd say for people that are trying to build something out, like, locally, just don't overthink it. The people that are interested in your event are your ambassadors, right? Like don't go out and try to reinvent the wheel over here. Find the interest level, find people, your friends, anyone interested, and, double down on them and support them to create the best promotional piece for you.
Is a lot of it just, I mean, I say just, I know this is really hard work, but is a lot of it just really a communication thing with those ambassadors and making sure that they have the information and like assets that allow them to promote the event when they're excited to do so?
That's definitely a portion of it. And like we handle all that, like we do research on the event, like we handle all the FAQs. We basically act as like a question and answer for these festivals, for these direct ambassadors and like their friends who are going to the event. So it kind of helps out on that. But yeah, communications is a huge piece of it. Along with others, like just making sure that about the event, about whatever they can do to support it, whether that's what you can bring into the festival or, event hours, like lineups, set times, etc. So yeah, it's a lot of communications. It's just kind of a lot of information that we learn about, so we can support that festival and in turn make the ambassadors knowledgeable and comfortable.
Have you seen anyone using this kind of program to promote like a specific tier of like an offering, like people that are doing VIP or like any kind of specific offering where they're like, we're kind of good on the GA tickets, but like we really want to push these VIP experiences.
We've done that in the past. We do that for some of our events, just based on the amount and the sales. But we find that if you're going to build an ambassador program, allow them to offer everything. You'll just see more success in that. The more you give them, the more you'll receive in return. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely do it for offerings and for specific pieces. And we do it for some brands as well. Like, we do drops, and we'll have our ambassadors put specific drops. So we're very familiar with that. Again, it is, you reap what you sow, sort of. So the more you put into these ambassadors and the more you're willing to give, the more success you're going to see in the back end.
Like, what's kind of the incentive structure that like gets an ambassador to, want to put in that kind of work?
So we offer free tickets, free rewards for X amount of sales, right? So if you sell 10 tickets, you get a free ticket of that same caliber, and it kind of tiers up, right? So as much as the event is willing to offer, we're willing to comp. So, up to super VIP tickets, backstage passes, merch, just kind of the whole nine. Each event has a different tier system, but we try to offer something competitive and fun, right? Because at the end of the day, these are events that you're supposed to have fun at. So
yeah.
Gotta maximize that.
Yeah. I like that. It's kind of gamifying the thing you're already doing. Like, people are already sharing the events that they love with their friends and stuff, but kind of adding some fuel to that fire that is already there.
Exactly. It just rewards them for doing what they love, right? And it creates brand loyalty, and it turns a transaction into a relationship, right? So it's cool, and it's cool to see.
How do people track? Are you mostly just using like affiliate codes and stuff in the ticketing platforms, or you have your own thing that you've built at all? Or
no, so we use the direct ticketing site of the event, because that way we're not taking any information. Like, our whole thing is we want the event, so we don't take any information besides the sign up sheet, which is our ambassador info. But yeah, all the ticket buyers, that's all goes through the festival, and it's tracked via affiliate codes or affiliate links, and they send us a report weekly on what those sales are.
And that's how you let the ambassadors know how they're doing and stuff.
Correct.
So it's really something that, if someone wanted to try a little bit of it at the local scale, they should have all the tools they need. It's just a matter of like the brute force of doing the work.
It is just the work. Correct. We've done small events. We've kind of done, I don't want to call them small events, but just every size, every room. We do everything from large scale event venues to festivals to pro sports to, we've done single concerts and one-offs. So we're happy to kind of help and assist on pretty much anything.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you get into doing this? Like, what was the thing that was like, this is really valuable? I know that your background's in events, so like, what kind of tipped you off that like ambassadors running a system and a network like this would be so valuable?
Yeah, so I've used it and seen it in the past. And again, I've been in the event space for a little over 9 years now. My partners on the business, Zach Middleton and Bo Thede, have also been in the event industry a long time and have been part of ambassador programs for their businesses in the college space. So we just decided that partnering up made the most sense. We saw kind of a disconnect in the industry of like, people were using a ton of digital ads after COVID and forgotten how to actually market an event, like people to people skills. So, we were just like, well, what if we tried stepping in here and, pretty much immediately saw success. So we turned a really small business into, a pretty successful one. I don't want to say overnight, but this last year. And, since then have continued to grow, and we're bringing on more people and seeing success in it.
That's awesome. So what's kind of the, quality of like, how do you determine what an event is that you would want to work with? Just so like anyone that's listening, if they're like, I don't want to do all that work myself, I do want to hire Serge. Like, is there any criteria that you look for in terms of that?
If they're selling tickets or a product. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say everything, but pretty much 98% of stuff we're happy to take a look at and at least try it, right? Since we are commission based, and if it's an easy lift, and the only thing I would say is if they have the ability to create affiliate codes, and if we can track, and if they're willing to do that, then we can kind of hop on. If you can't, then it's a little tougher, but that's our criteria, right? So it's easy, and we try our best to make it as easy as possible for the client.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's, like I said, I just know from experience how tough it is to run these programs and how valuable it can be. I worked in radio originally, and that's like, we would do activations like this to, with our audience, basically like turn our audience into like a street team for a big event or something. And we would act as that like person that manages all the logistics of it. And that was quite a lift sometimes. So even for us who had a big audience,
it's just different, right? Like I think the audience size, it matters, right? Like I think it definitely matters, but that's the cool part is if you have fans and you have interested people, even if it's 10, you can see massive success just because, those 10 fans can snowball and create hundreds of tickets or products or whatever that is that you're selling or providing.
Do you ever work directly with like touring artists or anything?
We've done artists in the past for shows specifically. Yeah, we've seen success there. It just kind of depends on the act and where it is. It's a little bit tougher just because, ambassador programs are niche to local markets. So like you can't really do it on a nationwide scale. You have to pick the markets they're heading to and recruit on an individual basis.
Are there markets that you've seen be stronger than others, or is it really kind of anywhere?
It's anywhere. We're worldwide. So we do everything from Croatia to Italy to Greece to South America, Canada, obviously the USA. We've seen success in pretty much every market. So we've done Australia as well. So we're happy to kind of take a look at anything. I don't think there's one market that's stronger than the other. It's just how much time are you willing to.
Yeah. We've seen some interesting stuff just around like our local event promotion has struggled a little bit we've gotten better at it, but at first it struggled in like Los Angeles and New York and like kind of the big markets, but it was like really early on, it just crushes it in those like kind of mid markets. Like we're from Omaha. So, for us, it was like natural for us to build something that works in Omaha, but then it also works in like, lots of mid-sized cities that have a lot going on, like Austin and Tampa, Denver, and then down to like smaller cities sometimes too, can really surprise you.
Yeah, I agree. I think mid markets are great. Small markets are fantastic. Sometimes the bigger markets are just a little bit competitive, but that if you do,
I think your event has to be like way better in LA or New York or something, because it's just like,
yeah, like we honestly, our best market's probably New York, just transparently. So it depends, right? LA's tough, but if you kind of find the correct people, then it's easy. It's not an overnight thing. It's like in some markets it is overnight. Like you walk into a market that has one event, you can find success overnight. But
yeah.
Tampa, Florida is a pretty good market. Honestly, we did great in Europe. Canada's been successful for us in general. And I know that's super broad, but it just,
I have seen like just from touring artists that I'm friends with, like that Canada and Europe and Southeast Asia and stuff perform really well for them because there's just not as much, there's definitely lots of stuff going on, but there's not as much competition as there is in kind of the major markets. So if someone sees like an act or something that's in the genre they're much more willing to go out and give it a shot because there's not 3 other artists that they're fans of playing on any given night.
Exactly. It's like the US market's pretty oversaturated, especially in some markets. I mean, New York has a festival, it seems like every weekend. So
yeah.
it's
you got to niche down to like a specific audience type if you're gonna be in those markets.
Yeah, or just be huge, just
right.
massive.
Yeah. Governor's ball or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, is there kind of any like last thoughts you want to leave the audience with who are mostly event organizers or promoters on Surge and just ambassador programs in general?
Yeah, I think the big thing here is like the takeaway is like we're happy to help anyone. I think we've seen success in everything from sports to small events to venues themselves. So even if you want to just like chat through like how to build one or what are the next steps, like I'm always happy to jump on a call and help out anyone. And obviously we'd love to be a partner on whatever shows they have, and we're always available. So
awesome. Where can people find you?
They can find us at our Instagram at surgesocial_, or they can email me at alex@surge.social.
Sweet. Awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Greg.